Hello everybody, welcome back to EDI Infrastructure Academy for Engineering, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the if function in Microsoft Excel. So to do this, let's imagine you have a course in which 5 students enrolled. Okay, you have their scores. Now you want to decide whether they passed or failed the course. You're going to give them a letter grade. You also want to see if they're eligible for extra credits, and then you want to decide whether they should be announced publicly or not. Okay, so let's do this real quick. Let's see if they've passed or not. Now, the pass criteria for this course is 50. So anything that is 50 and above is a pass. Okay. So to do this, we'll just come here and we'll use the if function. The if function has 3 parameters: the logical test, the value if the logical test is true or passed, and the value if the logical test is false or failed. Okay. So in this case, the logical test is we want to check if the score is greater or equals to than 50. Okay. All right. If it is, then the student has passed. So we'll just return pass. Now notice I'm using quotation marks because I'm using text. Whenever you're returning text, you'll have to use quotation marks. If you're referencing other cells, you don't have to use these quotation marks. Okay. So if B2 is greater or equals to than 50, then this is a pass, obviously. If not, it's a fail. So let's return fail in that case. Okay, and let's close this. Yep, you see 85 returns a pass. Now, let me drop this down. Great, 70 returns a pass, 45 returns a fail, 91 returns a pass, and 49 returns a fail. Okay, if I change this to 50, yeah, okay, great. So everything works perfectly fine here. Now, the other thing you want to do is you want to give them letter grades. Okay, so let's do this real quick. What I'll do is I will use an if function. Okay, it's going to be a pretty long one. I want to see if B2, if the score, I forgot the equal sign. Anyways, so the if function, all right, and in my logical test, I want to see if the score at that specific student is greater or equals to 90. Okay. If that's true, then I want to return an A. They received an A. If that's false, okay, if that's false, then I want to check something else. If that's false, I want to check if now their score is actually bigger or equals to than 80. And in that case, I want to return value of true. I want to return a B. Okay, great. Now, if that's also not the case, then I want to check something else. I want to check if that's not true, then I want to check if they scored above 70 or 70. Okay, so we'll check B2 again. We'll see if it's bigger or equals to 70. And then I want to return a C. Okay, great. Now I'll do the same for 60, okay, which is a D, right? So if the score is greater or equals to than 60, then I want to return a D, okay? Okay, and yeah, if it's above 50, so let's do one for 52. So if the value of B2, if the score is bigger or equals to than 50, then I want to return a D plus, let's say. Okay, great. Let me say D minus, no reason. All right, so and if this is not true also, then I would just want to return an F. Okay, great. And let me close the brackets. Oh goodness, we have a lot of brackets to close. It's another one, and that's another one, and that's another one. I hope it works. It works. And let's see, let's drop this down. All right. Yeah, we see for 49 it returns an F, for 45 it returns an F, and for 51, let's see, returns a D minus. That's good. All right. For 65, it returns a D. For 70, supposed to return a C. For 80, supposed to return a B. And for 90, supposed to return an A. That's great. Awesome. Okay, so now we want to see if they're eligible for extra credits. Okay. Now, anything in between 50 and 80, I want to make them eligible for extra credits, okay? No reason, it's just that's how I want them to be, okay? So, the way to do this is I'm going to use the if function again, and now I want to test whether their score is in between 50 and 80, okay? Anything in between 50 and 80, I want to make them eligible, okay? So the way to do this is you'll have to say if the score is greater than 50 and also less than 80, okay? So you'll have to use the AND function for this, okay? So the logical one is you'll have to use B2. You'll have to say if it's greater or equals to 50. And the logical two is you'll have to check if they're also less than, if the score is also less than 80. Okay, so let's refer to B2 again, this time less than or equals to 80. Okay, sounds great. We have two tests only, two logical tests. So let's close the AND. And let's see if this is right, we want to return eligible, okay? Great. And if it's not in between 50 and 80, then we want to return, let's not forget the quotation marks, want to return not eligible, okay? Great. Let's close this and return. Yep, you see 85 is not eligible because it's not between 50 and 80. Let's drop this down. And as you can see, the only eligible student is Bob, okay? Let's test, for example, 79, which is eligible. Let's check 80, which is also eligible. 81 is not eligible though. Yep, so just like you see, now we've decided whether they're eligible for extra credit or not. Now we want to see if they should be announced publicly or not. So obviously the students that got an A and B, or the top two students, should be announced publicly. And also just like to punish the students that got Fs, we want to announce them too, right? Why not? So I want to use the if function again, okay? But here we want to see if a student has scored above 80 or if a student has scored below 50, because we want to announce both of them, the students that failed and the students that did very good, okay? So we need to use the OR function, okay? So the OR function, we want to test if the value of the score is greater or equals to 80, okay? Or if B2 is actually less than 50, okay? If it's less than 50. Now, if any one of these, if B2 is greater or equals to 80, or if B2 is less than 50, then we want them to be announced publicly. So we'll say yes, sorry for that. So we'll say yes, let's not forget the quotation marks. And if it's not between this, we don't need to announce them publicly, so we'll just say no, right? Let's close this. Let's see what happens. Yes, so here an 85 returns yes, so 85 needs to be announced. And let's see, so Bob does not need announcing, but almost everyone else, yes, everyone else needs to be announced, right? So these guys need to be punished, and these guys here, they need to be proud of themselves. That's why we're announcing them. All right, so that's it. Thank you.